welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. And I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make Chewy energy bars, kind of like our granola bar. And we're going to start with some peanut butter and honey in my little pan that I'm just wanting to get basically liquefied a little bit better. So I need half a cup of peanut butter, and then I'm going to do a third of a cup of honey. And these are granola bars that you actually bake. So there's a million different kinds, and I've tried lots of different ones. And you know, there's lots of like energy balls that are kind of not baked, and all kinds of options. But this is one that I make a decent amount of time because I just kind of like it. And it's sometimes they seem a little bit like they might want to fall apart on you, and that's kind of just how much you're cooking them, and then when you let them cool and cut. So I don't know, I have made these a few times and I think they're just dandy the way they are, so that's why I continue to make them this way. So okay, half a cup of peanut butter now, a third of a cup of honey. The original recipe also, you could do maple syrup, but I don't know. I feel like maple syrup is too much like liquid gold to put into granola bars like this, energy bars. So I just always use honey. But then honey does give it that kind of specific honey taste, which I think is kind of appropriate with this recipe, and I don't mind that either. So I'm going with that too. Okay, so there's my perfect, oh, there's my oven. Preheated to 375, because we're going to bake our little bars for 15 minutes or so, I think it says. Okay, so now I'm guiding my stuff out of here. All right, and what I'm really trying to do is just make sure this is liquid enough to mix in with my oatmeal. It's kind of like my peanut butter granola I make. I also put that on the stove to warm it up and get it just kind of thinner. Doesn't have to be like, you know, a ton of heat, but I like to have something. Okay, now I'm going to do my flaxseed. So I need a quarter cup, and this actually has little measurements on it. So like that. And then I need 2 more tablespoons because it's kind of a weird amount. It's like 6 tablespoons. Oh, and then I just got this all wet. Shoot. Okay, where's my little towel at? So this is flaxseed that, whoopsie, my stuff is too hot already, that I ground myself. I just use a coffee bean grinder, and then it works really nice. So hang on, I gotta get this out of the way. Put that over there. So let me move back to this for a second. So this is my peanut butter mixture. So it's pretty hot. My hot plate was probably a little bit hotter than I realized. So all my honey is liquefied for sure, and my peanut butter is much softer and not so gloppy. So I'm happy with that, and now I want that just to cool off a little bit. Okay, so I got my quarter cup plus 2 tablespoons of water, and then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. So like I said, these are the brown flax seeds that you can buy, and then I grind them in my little bitty coffee grinder. And then this is actually like an egg substitute. Maybe you guys know that, but you can do like one teaspoon of flaxseed to 1 tablespoon of water, and then that is supposed to be the same as an egg. So I have used that in baking, or sometimes for like pancakes and stuff if I'm making a very small amount and I don't really want a whole egg because it'll make it too like crepey and eggy. So this kind of, in my opinion, this little egg binder substitute works pretty good because it gives you a little bit of the energy from the flaxseed, the good oils in there. And then it does kind of bind all your oats together. So when you're using it as an egg substitute, you're supposed to let the, the teaspoon of flax and the tablespoon of water sit for like 5 minutes. And this will probably end up sitting for 5 minutes just because I've got plenty of other stuff to do right now. All right, so we got our peanut butter honey, our flaxseed. So now we do our actual stuff here, the guts of it all. So I need 2 cups of oatmeal, or not oatmeal, just oats. Okay. And then just a little bit of flour. I need half a cup of flour. So my half cup is dirty, so I'm just going to reach in here and do half a cup, like that. Okay, so that's my half a cup of that. Then it calls for baking powder because they do kind of puff up. So this is definitely an interesting recipe, I think, for granola bars. But it is, again, it's a baked one, so it's not like the raw power balls, that are a little bit different. All right, so 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then a little bit of salt. I'll do half a teaspoon, and I'll just measure because that's what good cooks do, is measure. And then a 1/4 cup of sugar. And here's my 1/4 cup. Oh, and I've got a big old blob in there. Let's see if this works out for me. Okay, so there's my 1/4 cup. So now I'm going to combine all of this, and then we're going to combine all that and all this and add the chocolate chips and the raisins and put it in the oven. It's pretty quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, and you can see, like, I don't know if you can see how gloppy it is, like it's definitely working as a binder pretty much, which is perfect. That's what I want. And then I'm going to scrape all this good stuff out. And then combine these two. And I don't think the original recipe said you had to combine these two. You can just put it all in there, but I don't know. I'm just kind of weird that way. There are certain things I like to make sure are mixed well. So I just always add my flax mixture to my peanut butter mixture. Then I add it to my oat mixture. I suppose I'm making an extra step, but I don't know. But yeah, you can see how this is like slimy almost, like it's definitely got that eggy type of structure to it. So it's kind of cool. Fun science. Science in the kitchen. Okay. All right. Now, I think that's it. And then I'm just going to add chocolate chips and raisins here. Get those out. Okay. So I'm going to combine these two together. My little dog over here is hoping I drop a bunch of peanut butter. I'm sure he can smell the old peanut butter mixture. Okay. And I got to get every last bit out that I can. Let's see, I think I'll throw this over here. Okay. So now I'm going to stir this. This does take a little bit of time and effort because it's granola and it's a little bit gloppy, but you just stick with it. You'll see, it'll all turn out. Okay. And I like to do my oatmeal with my peanut butter flax mixture because then I can just really stir like crazy. I don't have to like go slow and feel like I'm going to smash my chocolate chips or something, because as soon as this is all combined, then we're going to add our chocolate chips. Okay, so you can see how it seems like it's really dry and gloppy. That's okay, but it does end up with a bunch of flour kind of down at the bottom. So you think like, oh, it's all stirred in, but it's really not. You got to just kind of keep working it and make sure all your flour is combined. So you don't, I think if you didn't have it all combined well, you'd end up with a part of your granola bar that would completely fall apart, because it wouldn't have, it'd have that little chunk of flour and then it wouldn't be like bound together. So that's my take on it. That's why I spend all this extra time, like actually making sure it's all combined. Okay, now I feel pretty good about it. Okay. So now I'm going to add just a 1/4 cup of raisins and a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, which doesn't really seem like very much. But I don't know. I don't think you need much more, I guess. And of course, this kind of thing you could always like drizzle with chocolate chips or with chocolate, or even like dip. You could like dip the bottom half if you really want to be fancy. You know, whatever you want to do because you're cooking. Okay, and I need another 1/4 cup. And the other thing about chocolate chips is I want to make sure my mixture isn't too hot since my peanuts were on the stove. I don't want it to be so hot that it melts on my chocolate chips. Even though I'm putting it in the oven, I just don't want it to melt before it gets to the oven. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this in, and then we press it into our pan and bake it. So yeah, this is one of those like things that take a little bit of energy. Get you ready for that camping trip by using some muscle. But you just really want to spread all your raisins and chocolate chips around nicely. And you can substitute anything you want. If you want dried fruit or, you know, like nuts, anything. I just do raisins and chocolate chips because I tend to always have those in my house, and I like the combination of raisins and chocolate chips. But if you wanted like dried cherries or craisins and, you know, sliced almonds, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Okay, whew. So I have greased my pan, my 8x8 pan. So now I'm going to just very carefully dump it out. It's really gloppy and sticky, and that's okay. And this little guy is not strong enough. I think I need my big one here. Let's get the monster guy out. Oh yeah, look at that, it just scrapes. So there's no surviving this guy. Everything's coming out. Okay. All right. You know, and I have never not baked these. I wonder if I could. Like just not put them in the oven. I don't know. Because there's nothing really you can't eat that's, you know, like not edible. I don't know, I have baking powder in here, I guess, but I don't know. I never have done it. I always bake them. And I think with the baking powder, it does make them like poof up and rise up a little bit. So, but if you want to just experiment and like don't do the baking powder and then just put these in, you know, any kind of little pan you want, you might not have to bake them. Okay, this gets a little bit difficult because of course everything's a little bit sticky. So I'm just going to use my fingers for the most part. And I try to kind of make sure that my chips and everything are evenly dispersed because, like, you know, a couple of times I've made it and it's like all my chips are here and there's like nothing over here. So now I'm a little more aware that I might not always be stirring so well. Here we go. This is how I got to do it. And so I just try to make sure that I don't have all my good add-in stuff like in the same spot. Okay, so now I really made a mess on my fingers for no reason because apparently the best way to do this is just push down a little bit harder. And I do really push it down. I mean, I want it to be pretty compacted in my pan just to make sure that it's all kind of nice and stuck in there together. All right, that's looking perfect. So it has a little bit of shine to it, you know, because of all the peanut butter and honey. And I just try to make sure that it's level. And that's about it. Okay, so now I'm going to put them in the oven, 375, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to let them cool for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to start to cut them. Cut them. Okay, so, whew. Okay, I'll be back in 15 minutes and we'll pull them out. Okay, we are back, and I took my pan out 10 minutes ago. I baked it for 15 minutes and then I let it rest for 10 minutes and it's still quite hot. But I'm going to try to cut it into 4 and then take it out and let it cool. I think these Chewy granola bar things, energy bars, are very delicate when they're hot. You know how a lot of baked goods are very delicate when they're hot. And so I really want them to cool quite a bit before I cut them. See, like these are cutting quite nicely. Sometimes if I'm too impatient, I'll cut and the whole like ½ inch will like just crumble in. So this is looking pretty good. But I'm not sure if it's going to be as pretty when I go to take out my big quarter piece here. Let's see what I can do. Okay. Okay, so that looks really nice. We're going to take that out. And I'm going to do the next one here. Whoopsie, I forgot to loosen up my little edge. Okay, that. And this one. And this one. Okay, well that was awfully easy. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these cool completely because I mean they're definitely like hot right now, and I really do think that when you cut these when they're hot, they just kind of crumble more. So you can cut them, sometimes I just do across here, make kind of thicker bars. You can also cut them into little squares if you want little bite-sized ones. You just have to see how they're cutting, because if you're doing the little squares and they're crumbly, then you'll end up with just like a little square. And then again, if you want, you could, you know, if you cut them into bars, you could dip half in chocolate or drizzle it with chocolate or put the bottom layer in chocolate. I think they're plenty sweet, but I don't really like a lot of sweet stuff. So to me, they're really perfect. And I use these for road trips and snacks at home and camping sometimes, I guess, if I'm thinking ahead of time and can make them. But yeah, I just really like them. They're a nice little snack to eat. So there you are. Oh, I should taste them, but I'm not going to because they're too hot and I know what they taste like. I make these enough to know. So thank you very much for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you make some Chewy energy bars and you think they're pretty yummy for being homemade granola bars, and put in whatever you want. Thanks for watching the show. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time. Bye.